Imagine this, a $50 million metro project right in the heart of one of the world's top tourist destinations, and not a single major country wanted to touch it. Not the US, not Japan, not even the Europeans. In fact, 27 countries said no outright. Some ignored the proposal completely. Others backed out after reviewing the terms. Too risky, too complex, too minor to care. That's how the global community viewed this Turkish metro plan, a logistical nightmare in Istanbul, buried under red tape and unstable ground. Then came a twist no one saw coming. China didn't just show interest. They finished the entire metro in under 6 months. While others wouldn't even show up to inspect, China delivered at record speed. So how did they pull it off? And more importantly, is China's infrastructure capability really that powerful? Or is there another side to the story? This is a story of global skepticism, bold ambition, and a project that ended up changing minds worldwide. To understand why this metro was shunned by the world, we have to rewind to Istanbul, a city constantly bursting at the seams. Each year, over 15 million tourists pour into its historic neighborhoods. Locals and visitors alike jam into narrow streets where ancient architecture clashes with modern traffic and soft, shaky soil. Here's the surprising part. For years, some of the busiest parts of Istanbul had no proper underground metro. The need was obvious: reduce traffic, cut travel times, and raise the city's infrastructure profile. So Turkey went global. They opened the project to international bidding, expecting serious offers from the world's top players. Instead, silence. Out of 28 nations approached, 27 declined. Some didn't even bother sending a site team. Why? Because Istanbul's terrain is notoriously difficult, dense, earthquake-prone, and filled with priceless landmarks. The proposed line would run through some of the city's most congested and sensitive zones, making construction a nightmare. Turkey's economy was also in a rough patch, raising concerns about financing and long-term support. Even engineering giants like Japan and the United States quietly passed. Too risky, too messy, too uncertain. For a while, it seemed like the project would never happen. But just as the plans looked dead, China stepped in. More specifically, CNR Giant Machinery Company Limited said, "We'll take it." To many international analysts, it was baffling. Why would China take on a project rejected by almost everyone? Earthquake risks, tight deadlines, political tension. It looked like a disaster waiting to happen. But for China, it wasn't a disaster. It was a golden opportunity. You see, China has quietly become the world's go-to builder in extreme conditions. From mountain railways in Pakistan to roads through African deserts, Chinese firms have taken on jobs others refuse. It's a strategy rooted in a powerful national mindset. This is the same thinking that transformed China from a rural agrarian society in the 1980s to a tech-heavy economy today. They now operate more high-speed rail lines than the rest of the world combined. They didn't wait for perfect conditions, they built them. So when Turkey needed help, China saw its own past reflected back, and another chance to prove that when others walk away, they get to work. And they didn't just talk, they acted. Metro construction is usually slow, digging tunnels, dealing with traffic, ensuring safety. It normally takes 18 to 24 months, sometimes more. But China, they did it in under 6. Let that sink in. That's not just fast, it's historic. First, the workforce. Chinese construction crews are known for intense coordination. They operated in non-stop shifts, like a baton race. No downtime, no waste. First, the workforce. Chinese construction crews are known for intense coordination. They operated in non-stop shifts, like a baton race. No downtime, no waste. Second, modular construction. Instead of building everything on site, many components were prefabricated off-site and slotted into place like giant Lego blocks. That cut down time and errors. And remember, they pulled this off during two major hurdles: the COVID-19 pandemic, which disrupted global supply chains and labor movement. Istanbul's famously unstable terrain, built on centuries of history, split across two continents, and prone to earthquakes. Even with these issues, the metro was finished to exacting standards. It cuts through two of the busiest commercial zones in Istanbul and was built to move 90,000 passengers per hour. That's the size of a small city, every hour. And yes, it's earthquake-resistant too, a must in this volatile region. This wasn't just a fast build, it was a showcase in logistics and engineering precision. Fast is impressive, safe is essential. But what makes this metro stand out is its blend of power, protection, and personality. Tested at speeds up to 120 kilometers per hour, faster than many city systems worldwide, and even at top speed, it stayed stable. Built to absorb tremors, it's ready for the very real earthquake risks in Istanbul. So yes, it's fast. And China didn't stop at performance. They focused on design, too. The metro's interior reflects Turkish culture, themed with tulips, an iconic symbol in Turkey. The color scheme draws from Ottoman-era motifs, warm tones, elegant touches, and a clean, inviting atmosphere. Even the exterior is coated in anti-graffiti material. A small detail, but one that shows care for Istanbul's urban character. When Turkish officials toured the completed metro line, they were reportedly taken aback, not just by how quickly it was built, but by the care that went into it. Imagine being told a foreign nation would build your subway in 6 months. And when it's done, it actually feels like your own. That's more than just construction. That's diplomacy forged in steel and concrete. When the world heard that China had finished the Istanbul metro in just 6 months, many were skeptical, especially in the United States, where analysts and officials doubted the timeline, the build quality, even the safety. When the world heard that China had finished the Istanbul metro in just 6 months, many were skeptical, especially in the United States. Headlines hinted at corners being cut. Whispers floated about shady shortcuts. Some flat out refused to believe it was real, and from a Western viewpoint, that doubt was understandable. Major infrastructure in the West often gets buried in bureaucracy, environmental reviews, and political red tape. Projects take years, so a 6-month completion? But Turkey didn't waver. Their transportation ministry stood by the project. Turkish authorities pushed back on foreign doubt, stressing that they oversaw and verified every step. On-site engineers confirmed the build passed inspections, cleared stress tests, and met or even surpassed safety standards.
Check one, check.
One official put it clearly, this isn't just a Chinese metro, it's a Turkish one, built here, supervised here, held to our expectations. And the biggest surprise, it came from within. Turkish engineers and critics who were skeptical at first had a change of heart. After riding the trains, inspecting the tunnels, and reviewing the data, many were won over. What they found wasn't a rushed job. It was a new benchmark. The Istanbul metro became a showcase not of cutting corners, but of cutting down time without cutting quality. Globally, this project started flipping the script. China wasn't just the world's discount factory anymore. It was gaining respect as a capable builder. Globally, this project started flipping the script. China wasn't just the world's discount factory anymore. It was gaining respect as a capable builder. And not in places that hand out respect easily. For Istanbul, this metro line wasn't about showing off or setting records. It was about fixing a real problem. Before it opened, the city's traffic was a nightmare. Roads jammed with locals and tourists. A trip that should take 20 minutes could drag on for over an hour. But now, the train moves over 600,000 passengers daily, more than some European cities' entire population. At speeds up to 120 kilometers per hour, the ride between two of Istanbul's busiest areas went from nearly an hour to just 15 minutes. This isn't just a minor improvement, it's a transformation. Scene 6. Environmental benefits. Fewer cars mean less traffic, which means less air pollution. And in a city fighting smog and vehicle emissions, that matters. But the ripple effects go even further. According to Turkey's Ministry of Transport, the new line is projected to save over 29 million Turkish lira every year in fuel, time, and lost productivity. That's money that can now go into schools, hospitals, and other critical infrastructure. And it's not just about transportation. The metro line created jobs, during construction and now in daily operations. Then there's tourism. Istanbul is one of the most visited cities on Earth. A fast, clean, reliable metro makes reaching landmarks easier, hotel transfers smoother, and the overall tourist experience better. More comfort means more time spent and more money spent by visitors. Scene 12. Moving the country forward. So this metro doesn't just move commuters. It's helping move the entire country forward, economically, environmentally, and socially. And here's the bigger picture. This isn't just a metro line, it's a signal. A sign that the balance of power in global infrastructure is changing. And here's the bigger picture. This isn't just a metro line, it's a signal. A sign that the balance of power in global infrastructure is changing. For decades, big projects meant looking west, to the U.S., Japan, or Europe. But today, that's shifting. China isn't just catching up, it's in many ways outpacing the old guard. What happened in Turkey tells how a country needed help. The traditional powers walked away, and China said, let's get it done. And then, they did. Fast, cleanly, with precision and even cultural sensitivity. This could mark the start of a new global race. A race where China helps build the ports, railways, highways, and power systems of the 21st century. And not just across Asia and Africa, but deep into Europe, Latin America, and elsewhere. So now the question is, are we ready for that world? Are Western nations prepared to match China's speed, efficiency, and scale? Will developing countries start viewing Beijing not as a backup plan, but as the first choice? Of course, it brings up tough questions. Is China's approach sustainable? Can it scale globally without backlash, debt traps, or geopolitical friction? Those are the big issues we'll keep digging into on this channel. But for now, one thing is clear. This metro in Istanbul didn't just open a new line, it sent a message. The future of global building may not look the way we thought it would. So what do you think? Is this a new chapter for infrastructure, or just a one-time wonder? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you found this story eye-opening, don't forget to subscribe, and stick with us as we uncover more of the forces shaping tomorrow's world.